Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to the Vibe Tribe family. It is Time Out Thursday. And what Time Out Thursday is basically taking an adult timeout where we step back and reevaluate some things, whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly. What I'm doing today for Time Out Thursday is kind of a continuation from last week's when the lights go out, you're left with your thoughts. Well, that was a little bit of a negative. I'm not going to say negative, but we'll get into that when I start the video. But today is going to be, let's try and look at the cup half full. So let's get into today's video. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate and love it if you'd stick around by hitting that subscribe button and joining the Vibe Tribe family. We're a little crazy and a little squirrely over here, but we're definitely fun and we do have a lot of fun. If you like today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button as it lets me know I'm on the right track for creating content for you all. If you don't like today's video, that's okay too. I am okay with that, to each their own, but thank you for the watch time. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well so it lets you know when my videos upload. With it being summer, the uploading's kind of all over the place, but I do upload most days minus Saturday. So let's get into today's video, shall we? I think so. Let's go. Hey everyone. How's your evening going, or a morning or afternoon, wherever you may be? Today has been actually a really good day. This is video number 2. So welcome to Time Out Thursday. As I said in the intro, this is basically where I take an adult timeout. Because every once in a while, we all just need a timeout. Whether I'm talking good, bad, ugly, you never know. But this is going to be kind of a conclusion to last week's when the lights go out and you're left with your thoughts, which I will link up there. I will remember to link it as well. So I just want to address a couple things before I get into today's video. It was brought to my attention today very abruptly that people don't like how I'm running my giveaway. Well, sorry, not sorry. I give everybody about 24 hours, anywhere from 20 to 24 hours. And the reason why I'm doing it differently this time, whereas last time you had up to 2 weeks to answer for every video, this time I had to do a cutoff from day to day. And the reason why I chose to do it this way is it's going to be a lot easier for me to keep track of the entries. Last time in my giveaway, I never said nothing, but I literally was going batshit crazy because I was so afraid that I was going to miss an entry. Like, I literally lost sleep. I mean, and I said, the next time I do a giveaway, I'm going to do it the way I'm doing it this time. So if you don't like the way I'm running my giveaway, then don't enter. If you want to unsubscribe from me, which you said you were going to do, that's fine too. I'm not forcing anybody to watch my videos or be a subscriber. I am only one person. I don't have a team of people who help me with my channel. I don't, I have moderators. Thank the universe. I have amazing moderators that help keep the drama llamas away. So, but otherwise, I'm doing this all on my own. I'm one person. I try my best to respond to everybody as fast as I can, but I do have a life outside of YouTube. I am a wife and a mother, even though my kids are gone for a month, but that's besides the point. I have a real life. Like, as you can tell, I have gotten very little diamond painting done in 2 days. And the reason for that is I've been spending a little bit more time on my phone. But I've got so much going on. I've got so many whips is like what I mean is I got so many projects that I'm trying to finish so I can start new ones. I want to do, the next season of You Pick My Painting, where I'm going to give you guys 3 choices of paintings to choose from that you guys will pick for me to do. So I'm not going to apologize because a couple people don't like the way I'm running my giveaway. I'm sorry. I put the comments in there. I stated from the get-go, from when I started this giveaway, that they were going to have up to 24 hours to enter in. If you see my comment that says no more comments for the giveaway will be good for entry, if you see that comment, I'm sorry, I'm not going to make an exception. And I was asked to make an exception today. Well, can you make an exception? No, I won't. I won't, because if I make an exception for one, then I'm going to have to make the exception for all. And it's just the way it's going to go. I'm not trying to sound like a biatch too much, but it is what it is. Like, I'm doing the best that I can with trying to keep everything, you know. Our Vibe Tribe family is growing, and I am so immensely grateful for that. And that's something I'm going to touch base on when we get into the glasses half full. But I just wanted to touch base that you have until Friday, being tomorrow, to get your comments in for today's video. When I upload my collab video tomorrow, which will be roughly 24 hours from now, right now it is 6:30 my time, then, you know, you have until roughly that time tomorrow to get your answers in for today's video. If you aren't able, you know, everyone got a life. There are going to be multiple chances to enter into the giveaway. I have decided that I am going to upload videos on Fridays and Saturdays while I am doing the giveaway. So there are going to be 14 chances. Plus, I always throw in some bonus, you know, like I always throw in where you can get 2 entries for this, or I'll throw in a bonus question where you can, you know, you'll have lots of chances to enter in for the giveaway. And then once the giveaway is over, I will go back to uploading 5 days a week. I just want to give you guys the opportunity, lots of opportunity to enter in for the giveaway. The giveaway ends July 23rd. And I will be going live July 24th, my regular time on Wednesdays, and that is when we will find out who the winners are going to be. If you hear kids screaming in the background, I have lovely new neighbors who don't control their children. So, and I'm not about to close my windows. We actually finally have a nice day. Seriously, it's been raining here like you guys wouldn't believe. Oh, my Lanta. Okay, I am not going to squirrel too much. What was the other thing? Oh, today it was brought to my attention. Someone asked me if about the 600 subscribers. Yes, if the Vibe Tribe family hits 600 family members, I don't like calling you guys subscribers or followers. So you're the Vibe Tribe family. If the Vibe Tribe family hits 600 members by the time before this giveaway ends, yes, I will be adding 2 more prizes. So we'll have 2 more winners to this giveaway. Man, I was sure laying these down sloppy last night. Squirrel. So those were the 2 things that I wanted to address. Oh, and then my schedule, like I said, I'm going to be uploading daily until the giveaway is over. And then I will go back to normal scheduled uploads, which are Sunday through Friday right now, because I'm doing a collaboration with Chronically Crafty for kidney disease on Fridays. So Saturdays will be basically the only day that I don't have to worry about uploading. So that works for me. You know, it's not hard to do this. I very, very much enjoy doing this. I was actually talking to my daughter, texting my daughter tonight, and she was like, Mom. I'm like, what? She goes, how did you do it? I'm like, do what? Like, she's like, your channel. And I'm like, I don't know. C'est la vie. You know, like I said, I upload daily. Like I was uploading daily, and it's consistency. And I truly believe interacting with the Vibe Tribe family members is a huge part, right? But anyway, that's not what today's video is about. That video will be coming soon. I've been asked to do a video about that. So today's video is a kind of like a follow-up from last week's when the lights go out. Like I was having a I was having very negative thoughts. And you know, I always told you guys I'm going to keep things real, raw, and it is what it is, right? We all have bad days. I know there's a lot of people who, you know, I receive the messages, right? Like you guys are absolutely phenomenal. So today, instead of talking about stuff I've been through, like, you know, the ugly stuff, I'm like, no, I want to talk positive today because I do have a lot of things to be grateful for. So it's time for me to take a time out and share with you all, start sharing with you all about the journey that I've been on for the past 10 years. Yeah, you heard that right. If you've been following me since I started, then you know, like, yeah, I've had my fair share of bullshit, but no worse off than anybody else. You know, like we all have enough bullshit, you know, in our lives. Yet some of the topics that I talk about can be a little taboo. I get that. I do get that. And I'm going to have more taboo topics for down the road. You know, but it's all a part of the healing. Last year 10 years ago, on my 30th birthday, I said that's it. I'm done. I'm done with bullshit. I'm done with being abused and used. So Mother's Day of 2009, I had a barbecue where a bunch of friends came over and, you know, my ex, well, the father to my sons, who is my ex, I don't want to mention his name, so I'm just going to call him Waldo. Okay? We're just going to call him Waldo. Me and Waldo had been together for 7 years. I met him shortly after I left my first marriage. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know how that went for me. So, and Waldo was represented the complete opposite of what my first husband was, right? He was responsible, had a place, you know, he didn't do drugs. You know, he had a good job, blah, 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 blah. So we were together for 7 years. There was Donovan and Carson came into the picture. And then what the persona that Waldo puts out to the world is not who he is behind closed doors. He was very, very controlling, very mentally and emotionally abusive. He did get physical a couple times. He did get charged with domestic violence. I'd called 911, but he ripped the phone out of the wall. And, you know, so of course when that happens, there's no one that answers when you call. They come, and as the officers were pulling into the driveway, they could see through the window him putting his fist up to hit me. So anyway, this is actually, you guys are going to hear, like, this all coincides with me finally taking the step. So Anyway, so yes, on Mother's Day 2009, I had a bunch of my friends over to have a barbecue. My best friend at the time, it was her first Mother's Day, and they actually happened to live across the street from me. So by the time Waldo, he had to work that day. So by the time Waldo got home from work, the only people that were left over hanging out were my best friend and her boyfriend, you know, because they weren't married at the time. So they were over, and Waldo came into the house, and it wasn't Happy Mother's Day or nothing like that. It was, why does this look like this? Why is that like that? Why is Carson dirty? Why is Donovan look tired? Did you not nap them today? And he picked at me. Like, I was so embarrassed. Like, my friends are sitting right there. And I was humiliated because he was just picking at me and picking at me. So my friends felt uncomfortable, so they wanted to leave. So I said to Waldo, I'm going to go over to their place and, you know, hang out for a few minutes. I'll give you some time with the boys and I'll be back. At this time, my sons were 5, turning 5, and they would have been 4 and 2. So I went, as we got outside, my friends looked at me and I apologized. Like, I am so sorry, you guys. I am so sorry. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. And they're like, don't worry about that. I got to ask you. And my friend at the time said to me, is that what you go through? Is this what you've been telling us? Because, of course, she was my best friend. She knew everything. And I'm like, yeah, I said, that's actually nothing. I said, that was mild. And then her and her man were like, no, you got to leave. Like, that is bullshit. Like, no, nobody deserves that. Like, especially on Mother's Day. They're like, finally, they're like, you know, basically, like, my friend, she was a no punch hold person. It was black or white with her. And you knew exactly where you stood. And I mean, I miss her to death because you knew where you stood, right? But so we talked and we talked and we talked for a bit, and they were right. Like, and it was scary, you guys. Like, I knew in the back of my mind with every ounce of my being, you know, because my 30th birthday was March 8th. And yes, that's my birthday, March 8th. I am a Pisces, proud to be a fishy. Squirrel. So just shortly after my 30th birthday, I did a prayer, ritual, whatever you want to call it, and saying, like, I need a sign. I need a sign. What do I do? This is not who I'm meant to be with. I am absolutely miserable here. And because I'm so miserable, you know, I need out. Like, I had relapsed, not on my drug of choice, but I had relapsed and I stopped. It was a brief relapse. And like I said, I need a sign. What do I do? Like, I had no money because I was a stay-at-home mom. He had everything was in his name. Like, seriously, like the bank accounts, everything was in his name. Because that's just how controlling he was. So I didn't know and my friends were like, seriously, like, why don't you come over here? You can live with us. That way you're right across the street from your children. And start your life over. Like, we'll help you. Like, we'll do what we can. But they're like, you don't deserve that. Like, you gotta go. Like, my female, I don't know what to call her. Call her Daisy. Daisy, because I don't like to mention real names on here because some people that watch that, I just don't need that. So Daisy said to me, you don't deserve that. Like, and she's like, if a man ever talked to me like that, she's like, they wouldn't be breathing. And what am I going to call her boyfriend? Stan. Daisy and Stan. So Stan is like, I wouldn't even think of talking to Daisy like that. Like, that is just horse shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, they were just going off, right? And I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is it. I asked for this 2 months ago, and this is it. And I'm like, okay, well, if I move in here, then I'm still close to my sons, so I can see them. And, I'm like, you know what? You guys are right. I said, I'm going to take this leap of faith. I'm going to put faith into the universe. Oh, 1 second, you guys. Okay. And I'm back. Got a phone call there. So I'm like, just to continue on, it's been about half an hour for me, so I got to remember where I was at. I was the sign, the universe. I said, you're right, I've got to go. I already had one extreme abusive relationship, and why am I allowing another man to abuse me? So I went through 14 years between two different guys of being in abusive, nasty, mean relationships. So I got the courage to go over. I, went and I bathed the boys, got them to bed, made sure they were asleep. And I looked at Waldo and I said, I'm leaving you. What do you mean? I said, I'm leaving. And I went and I started packing my stuff. And he'd be like, where the F are you? Do you think you're going? No one's going to want your sorry fat ass. And just being, I said, no. I said, I'm moving across the street with Stan and Daisy. And all of it, like, he knew I was serious. And then all of a sudden his tune changed. I said, you absolutely humiliated me and embarrassed me in front of my friends with picking at me. And, so literally we were fighting in our bedroom because I didn't want the boys to hear. And I got my stuff, I packed my stuff, and I left. And I went over to Stan and Daisy's and started, and then the next day the boys were confused and it broke my heart. It broke my heart, but I knew deep down this was the right move. And it was one of the most difficult decisions that I ever made. Like, just thinking about it right now makes me want to cry. Like, it was really hard. So moving on, I wasn't working, and, Waldo, of course, being the manipulator and gaslighter that he is, had to go around and make me look like a monster, right? That he kicked me out because I was doing drugs, and literally contacted Children's Services and was trying to get it so I couldn't see the kids, I couldn't see the boys. I got hair strand tested, and of course, I came up positive. I came up positive for cocaine. And I was only allowed to see the kids on supervised visits, and I had explained to them what was going on, blah, 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 blah. So after I left in May, so it was working. Like, my mom would come over with me to be with the kids. So it was supervised. My mother was there. It was the only way I was allowed to see the kids. And it used to break my heart because they would stand in front of, or stand in my oldest boy, Donovan. They were standing in Donovan's bedroom window, looking out at me, knowing I was across the street crying for mom. So in July of that year, we were going through this a couple months. My daughter was at my mom and dad's. Like when I left Mother's Day, my daughter had to go to my parents' place. We all lived in the same town at this time. So my parents had to go to, my daughter went to my parents' place. July, I had reconnected with my high school friend, being Mr. Addiction's sister. And we had arranged to spend a weekend together. 10 years ago, July 5th was when I came in. And this is the wiener story. So my parents brought me to the town that I live in now, which is only 40 minutes away. And I was unpacking my stuff for the weekend, and all of a sudden, from behind me, all I heard was, "You want to stroke my wiener?" I was like, what in the universe is green grasses? And I turned around, and there was Mr. Addiction standing there holding his miniature dachshund puppy that he had just gotten. And when our eyes met, it was like I recognized him. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on Spiritual Sunday, because I'm going to talk about soulmates and twin flames. Yes, there is a difference. So, I spent the weekend there, and me and Mr. Addiction were glued at the hip for the weekend, and the rest is kind of history. Anyway, that was the positive. I took the leap of faith. I walked away from the abusive relationship that I was in. And when I walked away with nothing but my clothes and a few personal effects. That was it. I walked away from the home. I walked away from everything. And I left with nothing. I literally started my life back over. I basically took everything and I put it in the hands of the universe and said, take the wheel, because I can't drive no more. Obviously what I'm doing or how I'm processing or thinking ain't working, because I keep getting hooked up with these abusive men. And so it's like, universe, take the wheel, because I'm letting go. And that was like, when you throw a stone into a lake and you get the rippling effect. It was that moment on Mother's Day of 2009 that I changed my path, because I handed over to the universe. I put my hands up and said, I'm done. I can't do it no more. So after a few weeks, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more of how I got to where I am today. And this is going to be a process over time. It's 10 years, you guys. There's 10 years here of healing journey. So after I got back from that weekend, it wasn't working anymore, me living across the street at Stan and Daisy's house. It was getting to be too hard on my kids. Living with friends is not a great idea. It really, truly isn't. The biggest thing is it was really hard on my kids. I actually ended up having a clinical nervous breakdown. Literally, I had a nervous breakdown. And it was 14 years of abuse. I just left, Waldo, and my kids are standing in the window crying because they want mommy to come home. And I knew I couldn't. I knew I couldn't go home. I knew he would never change. I knew that he was not who I was meant to be with. So I ended up going to my parents' place, 30 years old, living at mom and dad's, my Lanta. And I got a job managing at Boston Pizza. So great. So I'm working, I'm managing, didn't like it, went back to, quit that, went to just waitressing. And, the general manager told me that they had a room for rent at the staff house. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take it, because it was a stepping stone for me to get back out on my own. I was at my mom and dad's because I left Stan and Daisy's middle of July. I stayed at my mom and dad's until September, and then I rented the room. So I was working. I had taken the Greyhound and went and seen Mr. Addiction a couple more times. It was a new relationship, and he was fresh. He was only 4 years into his recovery from his car accident. So, and I mean, he had a severe traumatic brain injury, like to the point they were told that he probably wouldn't survive, and then they were told he wouldn't walk and talk, and now he has his driver's license back. So I will tell Mr. Addiction's story another day, because I think Mr. Addiction should be with me when that story is told. And it's up to him if he wants it told. So on one of the trips to go visit Mr. Addiction, his mom asked me if I wanted to come to Onaway and live there. And I was like, oh, because my children, that was going to be 2 hours away from my boys. Right? Like, my daughter would come with me, obviously. She's my daughter. And she still, she didn't have a dad, and I wasn't about to leave her. And I said to Mr. Addiction's mom, like, I need to think about it. Like, that's a big decision to make. And because she was Mr. Addiction's dad was working down in Mexico. So she wanted me to come and stay with Mr. Addiction so she could go down to Mexico and spend some time with her husband. So I talked to my parents about it, and basically they said, you're 30 years old. You can make up your own choice. I talked to Waldo. Of course, he wasn't fond of the idea, but I said to him, I need to go. I said, I got some soul searching to do. And he's like, so you're walking out on your sons? I said, no. I said, there's a vehicle that I can borrow. I can come and pick the boys up every third weekend when you're working. So you don't have to worry about a babysitter. They can come spend some time with me. So after a few weeks, I let it was really tough, you guys. Like, I went back and forth. Like, I seriously went back and forth on this decision. Like, do I want to go? Do I want to stay? What do I do? What do I do? And then it just dawned on me that I knew Mr. Addiction was my twin flame. And being apart was tough. I knew, like, just coming out of having a nervous breakdown after 2 abusive relationships, I knew that I needed to clear my head. I had some soul searching to do, because Waldo was trashing my name all over town, trying to make me look like the bad guy, because he was so afraid that his deep, dark little secrets were going to be spilled, which I never did. Maybe I told a few people, but, I wasn't doing what he was doing because I didn't want bad karma. So after a few weeks, I made the decision, and I made the decision to go. So November of 2009, I moved 2 hours away from my family. I moved 2 hours away from my sons, and that was tough. Like, after losing Xavier, it was tough, but I knew it was what I needed to do. I knew it was what I needed to do. So I moved, and over the course of 18 months, I healed. That was the start. Those 18 months, because I moved back to the same town where Waldo and my parents lived. My sons were there. March of 2011. So I was gone for roughly 15 to 16 months. I don't know, year and a half. And I came back a different person. I came back stronger. I came back not as broken. In those 18 months, that was when the healing really began for me. And that was, where me and Mr. Addiction, we lived with his mom until August of 2010. And then we moved to Alberta Beach, had our very first place together as a couple. And then I was presented with the job opportunity in oil and gas as an office administrator. Started out that way, worked myself up to manager. But, it was a good opportunity, and it was like a sign. This job, I wanted to be where my kids were. It had gotten to the point where I was healed enough, like soul, mind, emotional. I was healed enough that I knew I could go back, and I didn't have to worry about relapsing. I didn't have to worry about any of the bullshit because I was healing inside. So we moved back to Edson. Oops. Guess you guys know where it was now. Not like some of you know where that is, but we moved back to that town in March 2011. I started that job April 4th of 2011. And then by June, Mr. Addiction and I had found a place that we could live, together as a family. Waldo had the boys for 1 month, and then I had the boys for 1 month, and we had shared custody. And the point of this is this whole time that from Mother's Day of 2009, I literally threw my entire life, my children's lives, into the hands of the universe and said, here, it's yours. And I was looking positive. I knew I made the right decision, even though there were times that I questioned it. Yes, I had a nervous breakdown, but that stemmed from Waldo's constant harassment and making me feel like the world's worst mother. But I wasn't happy with him. And I was looking at the glass half empty while I was with him. Do I still have dark days? Yes. Do I still have dark thoughts? Absolutely. But I've learned how to not let them. And when those dark thoughts come in, I talk about it. Now it's like I make a video. It's literally like YouTube is like my diary, right? YouTube is my diary. And I'm basically recording my life. So, I can look back on it one day, or my kids can, and they'll know that when I left for those 18 months, it wasn't because I didn't want to be with them. It wasn't because they did something wrong. No, it was because their mother was broken. And I couldn't be a good mom as long as I was as broken as I was. I hadn't dealt with the death of Xavier. I hadn't dealt with the trauma and the PTSD from the first abusive relationship. Then I had, I went through a different form of abusive relationship. So, yeah, it's no wonder. And I don't want my kids, it had nothing to do with them. What I did was to help me become a better mother. And when I look at where I'm at now, in 10 years, I left with nothing but the clothes I had and a few personal effects. Sorry, you guys, I have really bad dry mouth right now. And by trusting the universe and looking at the glass half full, when I see where I'm at right now, I have an amazing life. I've been with my kids since 2011. Everything, no matter what. Oh, 1 second, guys. Phone call. Okay, I'm back. So I think the moral of this here, actually, you know what? I got to give you guys your giveaway question. So giveaway question for today's video. What is your biggest pet peeve? Sound off down in the comments. What is your biggest pet peeve? Okay, now that we got the giveaway question out, things may look really dreary and dark sometimes. And since I've started looking at life as, you know, and like that thing said, that picture said in the beginning of my video there, it's not a matter of whether your glass is half empty or half full. The glass is refillable. And when I seen that, I was like, wow, that is so true. And how I interpreted that to be is, it doesn't matter whether your glass is half full or half empty. It is refillable as change. You can change it. You can make it more full. It's up to you of whether you want to take the steps to fix it. And it is scary. You know, like I was 30 years old and I had to start my entire life over. That ain't easy to do. You know, like I had been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years. You know, like that's what I did. I was a mom, you know, and I mean, I had done some waitressing. Yeah. Like I had done some waitressing. Like I'd been a waitress for 15 years, close to. Like on and off waitressing for 15 years. So I didn't have much experience out in the working world. You know, I also was not the Betty Crocker type. Being a stay-at-home mom was something that Waldo wanted me to do. Wasn't by my choice. I've always been someone who likes to be out in working. I've always been that way, and I know my mom can contest to that. You know, I've never been the stay-at-home type, but I did it. And you know what? I don't regret it because I got to really bond with my children by doing that. And no matter whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a career mom, it don't matter. Like I'm not here to debate that. But by me putting my faith and trust in the universe has gotten me to where I'm at now. And I absolutely love my life. I really, truly do. I have an amazing husband who loves me unconditionally, even when I'm like real squirrely, or whether I'm mean squirrel, nutty squirrel, crazy squirrel, bitchy squirrel. He loves me unconditionally, right? And I have 3 amazing, beautiful, healthy children that are the light of my life. I've got the cutest little grandson, you know. So when things start looking dark and dreary and negative, all I do is I count my blessings. Like, you know, we have a beautiful home that we worked very hard for. Mr. Addiction worked his ass off, you know, and so did I. Like, so we worked very hard, and in 10 years, I was able to heal my soul. I was able to rebuild myself. I got my self-respect back. I got I don't have low self-esteem anymore. And over the last 2 months since I started my journey into YouTube, and I know I've said it a lot of times before, and I'm going to keep saying it. If you don't want to hear it, then have a nice day. That's good. I understand. But I would not be where I'm at in my healing journey right now if it wasn't for doing what I'm doing. Because no matter how long you've been on a healing journey, life can throw some pretty big freaking curveballs. And, you know, it's all in how you decide to deal with them. And that's something that I've learned. The only thing, I cannot control what other people say, do, think. The only person that I can control is myself. So like when today, like I got that nasty message about my giveaway. Well, I could have gotten real nasty back. I was tempted to. I was blunt, like I wasn't a bitch, but I basically made my point. You know, I understand. And that is the only thing that I can really control, is how I choose to respond to people, how I choose to respond to life. And I think I've done pretty good. You know, it's not easy to bounce back and to start your life over. If you are in a similar situation that I was in, I know what it's like to have that fear. I know what it's like to have the fear of you don't want to be alone. You don't think that you can make it in this world on your own, you know, or, you know, you've been so beaten down and you think you're just worthless and worth nothing. No, you are worth something. And it's not easy to take that leap, but I'm telling you, it's so worth it. Like, I am so thankful and grateful for listening to the signs and following what signs I was given, going with it, even if it meant going against what everybody else thought was best. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks is best. What matters is what you think is best for you. You know, I will no longer silence myself to comfort another. I will no longer be pushed around by people. I will no longer, I don't want to be broken anymore. I want to be normal, whatever normal is. Like, I mean, I am squirrely and bullshit stuff, but hey, I like to have fun. I will sit and I will poke fun at myself, you know, because it's okay to do that. Oh, quit jumping out. I hate stack. So I'm not sure. I know I've had to stop this here in a few times. That was the start of my healing journey. I gave you up until 2011 when we moved back to Edson. I mean, I don't think it really matters if I talk about towns. Really, I don't think it does. So we will leave you at 2011. And I will continue this on different Whip and Chat days. It may not be TimeOut Thursday. It could be Let's Talk Tuesday. It could be one of my collab days. But I'm going to leave you at 2011 of the healing journey. It is getting, it's 10 after 7. So I would like to get this uploaded so I can go and, you know, write down all the entries for yesterday's video. And then you will see me upload my very first collab chit chat with you all tomorrow, probably around the same time as today. With it being summer, my sleeping schedule is really off, so I'm kind of uploading more in the evening time than I am in whereas fall and winter and spring will be probably uploading in the mornings. So until tomorrow's video, I am going to let you guys, I don't even know, see, squirrel, see, the squirrels just come. I'm going to bid you all farewell, is what I was trying to say, until the squirrels, see this, it's the squirrels. I tell you, it's these guys right here. I'm going to bid you guys farewell. Stay positive, live blessed. And until the next time, you guys, many, many blessings. #Vibe Tribe. Bye, guys.